Alright, I'm doing more than just my dailies right now. I've decided I want to continue the story.
Yes! First! Oh my gosh! I had to time that perfectly in midair and the thing hits at the line. We got line 2, we got 1, 4, 6. That's enough. Come on, come on, come on. There. Yeah. Actually, level 7, Super Horn versus Triple Red and Crazy 8. That means Super Horn is 8 super dodges, but is dodge reds. That is why we have the Triple Reds coming at us at all times. And I have to dodge every single one of these by timing it. I can't even focus on the road because I'm so focused on Wallabies red shells that are about to hit me. There we go. The thing about the Super Horn that lasts quite a while. So get some mileage out of it. Reds. I have a pretty good miracle running over some Super Horn. And here comes another red. And now we're out. We're gonna have to take this one. That's gonna happen a lot. I'm spamming them, but I didn't spam fast enough. I mean, I don't think I could have done anything. Okay, spamming. Gosh, still doing pretty well this race. I'm gonna go for double box. Need 2 multiple times. No! Come on, no! I'm fine over here. Okay, dodge 1. Slow down.
Alright, so check this out. I'm trying DPS Nahida again. I stole the artifact from Sophia and gave it to Nahida.
Come on, Yoshi! We're supposed to be on the same team here. Guys, I'm not sure.
And I have Bloombot Barbara, baby. The Elemental Mastery is still good, as long as I'm not using her to do any vaporize teams, reverse or otherwise. It's the fun thing about Elemental Mastery.
I wonder when I'll be as tall as my big sister.
They are separate off of actual attack calculations and stuff. I'm playing with this team for now.
I didn't even dodge, but I will get one.
Oh.
I gotta let ambitious that short guy. You cut less off on one. Actually going my closure has the fire flower and off the edge.
Might as well do this first.
Any experience dodging these today? Let's go. Let's go. Here comes another one.
Yes, this is indeed a fridge comp.
Fire flower behind us. And all the crash down. Reds are nowhere to be. He's got a blue shell from the blue. Yes.
I also got artifacts for Rosso. And surprisingly, her crit stats are still pretty good. So she's still a DPS.
Never tried it. Gotta use the best character. Level 9, Mushroom and Golden Mushroom versus Bullet, Lightning, and Shell. It all comes down to this. Final race. Mushroom is on this person. Way better items. I believe I see those. Red team. Granted, TPS is actually fun now. I never thought I would say that. TPS is always kind of a few Mario Kart. They show the items really allows for a lot of good things that I would have never thought of otherwise. And a lot of interest in this game.
Oh hey, it's Rosaria's birthday. Lovely.
Yeah, shortcut and dodging all at the same time. Another golden and burst! I thought I'd only be getting much. No!
Haven't I already gotten a birthday gift from Rosaria before?
Oh, no.
I don't actually know.
small. Oh, very small. How much colors
At Balan, yeah, his birthday, I believe.
all up the cliff are actually in a concert. I'm sure it's love. And down here, I was just about to go for a ramp shortcut. Now I'm screwed. I'm looking at it.
Okay, I guess not.
It's up to you guys.
But wow, these are a lot of.
My team is not. Problem is my team is. Looks like my team is. Nice. Getting hot. And I'll take it. There. Golden. No, that's not a golden. Or a glider. Where's my golden? Where's my golden game? Golden mushroom. I got you. That's the way to go down the street. I'm gonna come down the very end. First. I got first. Okay. On this. Oh, wait! It should be close. Down to you. You get the challenge. No!
I haven't been out in a
I
while.
just don't think we should squeeze the merchants too hard.
You know, those memes that were like a year ago, and I'm doing one now. Yeah, I'm so good at my job. But if you don't know how an Aussie video works, then we start at the top, light-hearted, things that you might know, and then work our way down.
Damn. I've got guaranteed 5-star right now. Even without accounting for the face that I got for the lantern rite. And you know what I'll get next month.
If there's one thing you
Looking
miss
good.
in this job, it's patience.
I can fish here? I kinda wanna get end of the line.
Drive safely.
She made a comment. She said, alright, you're going to treat this better, but take the cultural heritage also say that she later said, I never would have done it. She also said right at the start that he silent, precise, and to be clear, she followed directly on Jianzu's tactics, his subterfuge and networking strategies. And to be clear, Jianzu is not like a hero in this book. He is a brutal, powerful man. Next up, we have the classic mystery. What happened to Zuko's mother? Famously, in the series, she vanished with virtually no explanation. And at the end of the series, it ends on a cliffhanger with him going to Ozai and saying, hey, where is my mother? Well, we get those answers in the comic book The Surge. To be honest, I really like it very much. Basically, she agrees to murder Fire Lord Azula, forge a will that puts Ozai in the throne instead of Hyrule. Right after that moment where Azulon's all like, you will know the pain of losing a firstborn son. And as part of it, she was banished. Now, her story is basically she was in love with this guy called Ikem when the Fire Lord turned up and said, hey, I like that one. That one's mine now. And then she had to marry him and was forced to never see Ikem again. Then, when she got banished, she went back to him and they changed their faces with this actually really cool spirit called the Mother of Faces. Completely lost all of her memories, all of her past, and then became a new person called Noriko. Zuko and Azula went to go and find her, and they were like, oh hey, this is our mum now, I suppose. and then we're going to leave her as is, but then she got her memories back and decided to become nursery. And I don't like this very much because, I don't know, wiping the memories didn't really feel like the right answer to go for in my opinion. But then we have the Avatar equivalent of, did you know Viggo Mortensen broke his toe when he kicked that helmet? Those screams are real. Because, did you know that Momo was meant to be...
What they say is true.
Gyatso.
You have to see the world for yourself to appreciate how beautiful it is.
He even led and
I want to try Quicken Nahida, but I'm trying out Bloom Barbara right now. Apparently the term for for characters that are focused entirely on invoking the Bloom invocation as much as possible are considered Bloom bots, or you know, the other versions of Bloom, that being Virgin and Hyper Bloom.
But it starts season 2 and cuts it off, symbolizing cutting ties with the Fire Nation, throws it out, and becomes loose and becomes someone else. That's his character growth, he becomes someone else. Then he goes back to the Fire Nation. His hair returns to that, he kept inside that clasp. But there are little straggly bits of hair around it to reflect that, yeah, maybe he's fitting in, but it's not all perfect. Then after he faces his father, he puts the clasp behind the Fire Nation as it is, and he throws out.
I'm uploading a video right now, so I guess that's why I'm getting laggy.
And at the end, and throughout the comics,
If it doesn't get better, then I'll do something about it.
Tied up. It's found a balance between his loyalty to the Fire Nation and, of course, who he knows that he should be. Does he want to be personally? That's kind of his whole arc. Then we have one of the great perplexing mysteries I've never been able to figure out why. Is Azula's fire blue? It's because it's hot. That's why. No, okay. Symbolically, you could say that it's because of perfection. When she firebends, you know, she is very, very precise. She'll send off single bolts. Every single arc of fire will be very, very deliberate. Nothing's chaotic about her. So you could say that, you know, like the blue flames is about her perfectionism. You know, not one hair out of place. It is a perfect flame, and certainly not a way for the animators to distinguish between Zuko and Azula's fire. The air nomads survived. This one is pretty well known by now. Not all of them were wiped out in that single attack on the temples. I mean, after all,
the air is
virtually
just
impossible,
right.
and they're nomads. They're wandering throughout the world. The comic Relics does confirm that the Fire Nation would send out death squads, basically, to lure air nomads into traps with relics and then trap them. But of course, this does raise some perplexing questions, like if some of them survived, did any of them survive long enough to have a child? And if so, where is their heir then? You know? Well, there is some evidence to suggest that being able to live in an air nomad community, to live the air nomad lifestyle, raises the chance of you having the heir. And likewise, it could decrease it.
No touching!
Raised in that environment, potentially they just never develop that skill.
Everyone hold hands!
There's another theory, the idea that pretty much all of the airbenders that appeared after the
This is unbearable.
there's a bunch just suddenly
Let the show begin.
They might be the descendants of those airnomads who used
Hi?
Now, if you didn't know, there was an Avatar trading card game. I actually had a copy of it.
Yeah.
And there were two airnomad characters in that.
Animal Test 6308.
And he was also murdered too. Malu survived and became kind of this lone spirit in the mountains. But to be clear, the trading card game is not canon. These things don't really matter. Sozin's weird firebending. It's a tiny little detail, only on screen for a few seconds, but in the episode The Avatar and the Fire Lord, you can see Sozin doing something that looks exactly like waterbending or airbending is animated in the series. He's doing something to this lava, right? In reality, what he's actually doing is he is taking the heat out of the lava and turning it into like a cooler stone. This is a visual representation of that, because we do see throughout the series that firebenders can put heat into or take heat out of things. Like Iroh heats his tea
without firebending. This is just a more extreme version of that. This is seemingly a high-level firebending skill. In fact, it even has the exact same technique as lightning redirection. If you actually look at it, he's got the same posture. He's taking the stomach and passing out the other side into the sky. It tells us a bit more about how firebending and its fundamentals is about kind of the management of energy, which is climate. And given this is dependent on waterbending techniques, it is entirely possible that it was lost as an ability across the 100-Year War, as the Fire Nation came to believe in their own superiority and neglect knowledge coming from other nations. The Fire Nation equals Imperial Japan. All I'll say is watch out for my next video. Original Toph. Now, Toph's character was originally meant to be a guy and more like the Boulder, or Toph's character in the Ember Island plays, this hyper-masculine, big, muscly dude. This is before they came up with the idea of a blind girl, someone who is virtually the entire opposite of everything they were thinking and the best decision they possibly could have made. But that's the simple, the well-known, the easy, the light-hearted. Let's move down a layer. Sokka is White Lotus. At the end of the episode, Sokka's master, he is given a single Pai-Sho title, a White Lotus. This is the universal symbol for the White Lotus Society, a world-spanning organization of the most powerful, wisest, strongest people on the planet, all trying to ensure that things don't go to hell. The group wonders why he was given this, and supposedly it's just something to remember him by, but it could be an initiation into the Order. And you've got to think about what this episode is about, right? It's about Sokka finding his place, recognizing his own value, his own skills, and considering he is all about coordinating other people, about planning, about thinking outside the box. Sokka is textbook White Lotus, and Piandar tells him, you know, you are worthy, more worthy than any other man I have ever trained. But Sokka's death has always been a mystery. We know he was deeply involved with creating this post-war world, and that is exactly what the White Lotus organization was doing as well. And being involved in the White Lotus would bring him up against any number of powerful enemies, one of whom could have killed him. Glass bending. I made a video ages ago about this, and I actually can't remember if I said I thought glass bending was possible or not, but it is. Books confirm it. The shards of glass in her skin plucked themselves out under the force of her earth bending and balled into a floating clump. Actually, not in the book, it's my phone. YouTubing 101, if they're reading from a book, they're filthy liars. But glass bending does come into kind of the difficulties in defining bending, and I made a video on this called Is Flesh Bending Possible? Because for some reason, I'm obsessed with the idea that earthbenders should go and like bend the iron in our blood or something. Makes me angry, go watch the video. Guru Batik is Lao Gi.
Now, metal bending is possible because there's earth in metal. Blood is
years old.
Iron and
Avatar.
oxygen
He tells
and
Aang that he was a personal
a bit
friend of Monkey
hydrogen.
a spiritual companion
I
to
think.
the Endermans. But
Which is why blood
what does
bending
that
is possible.
really mean, right? Supposedly he was born 50 years before the Enderman genocide, but he may well be a lot older than that. There is a man in the Kyoshi novels called Lao Gi. He appears like a quirky loner, often friendly, often lazy, but in truth, he's hinted to have gained the secret of immortality.
The tragedy of algae light.
Being several thousand years old at the point in the story. He's described as having a wispy white beard, wearing
The Temple of Wisdom!
that conceal corded muscle, with white hair, wild arms, and bony fingers. Can you
All
give
hail!
an even more exact description?
Born of ice and frost. Come on!
So,
Focus!
but even more than that, Lao Gi says he subscribes to the philosophy and Shogun, and here we believe that you must let go of petty small things. You can't let the judgment or guilt of others control you at all. And that included, he specifically mentions letting go of loved ones. He tells Kyoshi to let go of the woman she loves, just the same as Batik tells Aang to let go of Katara. The philosophy is all about realizing your own potential, your destiny, by cutting yourself off from anything else around you. Honestly, I don't just think this is likely, I reckon this was intended to be canon. But this also means that Guru Batik is hiding a dark past. See, Laogi wasn't just a philosopher, a wandering criminal like he says in the books. He was an assassin, an amoral one, concerned with molding the world to be the way he thinks it should be, supposedly dealing out justice, more than caring about anyone else. He murders
Ad
children in
Astra
the name of
Abyssos.
justice, but he lets mass murderers walk
Thank
free
you for
because they're supposedly good politicians. Perhaps
Ad Astra
Lunatic had a change of heart in those hundreds of years, but we will never know. I actually thought that I came up with this theory because I put this all together on my own, but then I looked it up and a bunch of other people had also thought of it. Oh well, Appa understands human speech. Now, throughout the series, Appa has a bunch of moments where he understands incredibly complicated instructions and responds in ways that a human would, as if he has a very real awareness of what people are talking about. And this is Momo, my cat. How are you today, Momo? So we have scenes written from Momo's perspective, don't we? And all we hear is just gibberish, right? Does not understand human speech. Appa's scenes, though, perfectly clear. 100% English. But secondly, Sky Bison are literally magic, okay? They're just sky wizards. They can airbend. That is magic. There is a suggestion that they might be part spirit in some way. I mean, dragons are certainly more intelligent. They are also clearly more than animals. Why not Sky Bison? What are the chances that they are connected to the spirit world in a way other animals aren't too? I quite like that idea. When you look at the other original benders, the moon, the ocean, the dragons, even the lion turtles bestowing the elements themselves, they're so much more than animals. I love the idea that the Sky Bison and Badgermoles are intelligent, but intelligent in a different way to humanity. That beyond all of the floof and cuddles, they have a deep tie to the spiritual world, their own wisdom that we never quite truly see, that we can't even possibly
Where can I
comprehend.
fight the card
just
gamers
like the lion
in Jet's tribe?
But it gets even weirder because of one little detail that's thrown away that barely anyone even thinks about. There is no bending in the spirit world. Why is that? There are huge spiritual dimensions to bending powers, like water bending and lightning redirection, and air bending as a whole. Like, literally just living in a spiritual community means that every single child born into it was born an airbender. It's not a perfect correlation, like Ozai is, of course, one of the most powerful benders ever, but is very much not a spiritual person. But that relationship is there, and bending ability is, in a way, an expression of someone's relationship with the spirit world. And if that's the case, where does that leave our Sky Bison? Especially given how important it is to airbending specifically. What do you... What do you think? Think anything? Gyatso is a murderer. Let's think about how he found his body. There are enough dead Fire Nation soldiers around him to recarpet his entire house, okay? And let me remind you, when they attacked him, this was Comet superpowered firebenders. They are not normal firebenders. How did he kill them all? And how did he kill them all here, specifically in this area? You know, you could kind of understand him killing them one by one as he evades and escapes and whatever, but all right here at this moment, well,
I'll go
the
change
famous
this to be my
fan
Bloom
theory
team
suggests that
for now.
he basically sucked all of the air out of the room.
We can do this!
Well, this does two things. Number one, it suffocates the firebenders, but number two,
I
kills their fire.
can do it.
No matter how powerful it is, it's got no oxygen to burn. And this was considered pretty nothing until we see Zahir do it in Legend of Korra. He creates a vacuum around the Earth Queen's head, sucks out the air, and she dies. Gyatso may have done that on a larger scale.
As per
I
our
quite like this
contract.
idea because it makes him more mythic, and I have to imagine that he killed all of these firebenders at once in this place. I'm struggling to feel how he might have otherwise done it. Twin avatars. This is a fan theory that has been around for ages. Or not a fan theory, it's just a fan idea, fan thought. Which is basically, hey, what if there were twin avatars? You know, two of them. The avatar spirit got split, and they each had two elements. And what an idea!
Here, let me help you.
The Aang's parent episode.
Lisa and Yai both suffer as Electro Catalyst from being really clunky to play. Even with Constellations, I'd argue, both of them are still pretty clunky.
Saying this, I can only find other people doing it.
Because yeah, even with C6 Lisa, you still need to do that long-ass hold thing, and it's hard to tell when you can do it, and stuff. You know, Yae has those 3 stilettos that are freaking annoying to set up.
Hey, you were raised by monks. That is common knowledge that the children in the nomads.
But personally, I think Lisa's more fun. Fight me.
Of other monks. I'm not even sure what the episode would kind of be about. You know, there's no gap in the series that kind of demands it. Like, Aang doesn't even really seem to think about it all that much. Original airbenders. This has been an old argument in the fandom for years. Basically, in the original series, we were told that the original benders were in the ocean in case of water, Badgermoles, the Sky Bison, the dragons. Great, cool. Then in Legend of Korra, we find out pretty confidently
What'd they do this time?
you know, they did this, and then they gave people bending.
I'll ensure your safety.
People didn't really like this. I also talked extensively about why I don't like these episodes. Go watch that. But there is technically a law answer, right? The Lion Turtles gave people elements, but these creatures taught them bending. It's like giving someone a paintbrush versus actually teaching them how to paint. Bending is an art. And look, I don't like the answer, but it is the case. I've always so much more preferred the idea that like these people discovered bending by being super attached to the world around them, you know, being spiritually involved in the earth, or the air, or water, or you know, fire and the sun. Oh well. Kyoshi lived for 230 years. This was a mistake. The creators didn't do the maths, and she just ended up super old. There's a couple of them like this, but they just came up with an excuse. They said, "Oh no, we totally intended that." Kyoshi lived that long because of her advanced chi fields. Yes, that. Personally, I love this. I love that they didn't retcon it. I love that it makes Kyoshi more mythic. I love that it fits in with how, you know, in some Eastern religions.
It's just like the creation of the creeper being a mistake.
You're aging. It means you don't have to eat. You have to drink.
The best inventions are always mistakes.
As well, you know, he is super ancient, but
Except maybe nuclear reactions.
he seems to have absolutely.
They're great, but at the same time, you know, they kill people. They still do.
Our bond is strong. Hey! Hi!
You're in for a little shock.
I just realized I could use the killer.
I'll settle this.
You're in for a little shock. Come a little closer. Let's spark things up a little.
And focus on just, yo,
Sharing my knowledge.
reverse quicken.
Grow, grow, grow. Fly!
Come a little closer. Blitz.
I see everything. Go! Everyone hold hands.
You're in for a little shock.
Spirits, they're all hanging out in this world. The dragons are they are one of them.
Okay,
and
yeah,
to
this
say nothing of how the Sun
team
Warriors
is
are based on the Aztecs
slow.
and Mayans, who have a sun god at the center of their mythology, and guess
I
what?
should
The Sun Warriors
have
the center of
Dendrosophia
theirs.
right now, but damn it, I don't
I hold
have
this theory so high
her
because I think
talents
it's
leveled up
probably
right
one of the
now, and
best
there's no
supported
way
theories
she'll
out there.
actually be useful
which,
right now.
Given I came up with it, sounds like really. Iroh is a war criminal. You might know Iroh as a calm, tea-loving, wise old man with no skeletons in his closet. You would be wrong. Iroh was a general, right? At the height of Fire Nation power, he himself was responsible for the siege of Ba Sing Se. But he was all in on the glorification of war and the Fire Nation right up until his son died. Now, being a general, laying siege does not make you a war criminal, but we do not know what else he did, and this
More
is the same
companions!
Fire Nation
Hooray!
that systematically hunted down civilians in the Southern Water Tribe.
Can't sleep.
Something that Iroh, as
Let's go for a walk then.
ranking member of the Fire Nation royalty, would surely
Let's go
know,
get ourselves
or at
some
least
answers.
would have approved of, or not approved of that, would have approved of other things. And the Avatar role-playing rulebook, which came out this year, does also show us that the Fire Nation...
Oh, there's an Avatar role-playing game?
Doing
Yo!
war crimes left, right,
How
and
did I
center.
not know
I mean,
this
Fire Nation
sooner?
soldiers were committing war crimes like children collect Halloween
I
candy.
wanna
It's
play
almost
it.
terrible, but they get a lot of them, right? We don't have any evidence yet, but I'm sure it is out there.
That's a
But if we
Professor
are
Bennett.
talking about war criminals, that is a term we have made up
I won't
for
hold you back.
our world. But
Much.
one class of them that we tend to
Chivalry will
prosecute at
never
things like
die.
The Nuremberg trials and the Tokyo trials are crimes against peace. People who instigate or perpetuate war. Iroh would have fallen into that, even if he didn't start the war. Jianzhu. Now, this is one of my favorite characters in the entirety of the Avatar mythos. He is a politicking, manipulating, brutal, powerful, incredibly intelligent, great character that appears in the Kyoshi novels. He was a friend of Avatar Kuruk before Kuruk died and got spiteful.
A festive reprise!
Fine. Avatar
Cold, mine to command. Not now.
No, my sword!
No, you.
Everybody stand back! Fire hazard! Rain cutter!
Don't be scared. My guiding stars.
Teamwork is true!
Next theory, Yue should have been the Avatar.
Rain outlines your fate.
Not my favorite at all.
Let's light it up!
Was meant to be the Avatar, but then froze himself and delayed his death. Yue was born without kind of like an extra spirit, the Avatar spirit that she was meant to have. So, Moon had to step in and... I don't like this theory for one, I think it takes away some of the thematic resonance that we see in the Siege of the North, when it's all about Yue giving her life and her giving life back to Moon. It's about that intimate connection. But two, it makes no sense. It raises some really weird questions about, like, philosophical determinism in Avatar, that the Avatar spirit knows who it's
Okay,
going to reincarnate
that team actually also really
and
sucks.
has known it for thousands of years.
Yeah, Nahida is actually the best.
And that
along with
in
Hu Tao
turn
and
means
Yalan
that
and
person
Shirk.
has to be born, so a bunch of other things are already predetermined. Then again, there is like concept of destiny, but then for some reason Aang freezing himself wasn't part of the plan, that action was somehow completely out of the blue for the Avatar spirit, and they're like, well, screw this, what the hell am I meant to do now? Not to say that Aang was like determined to die at that certain age. There are concepts of a fate and destiny written into the series, but I don't think it works in this way. Alright, let's just get all the Yue theories out of the way. Yue sent the meteor. In Sokka's Master, a meteor comes out of the sky, and then he ends up turning that into Space Sword. If my light went out, you'll all have to heal. Basically, this theory says that because, follow me closely, because the moon is from space, and the asteroid is from space, then that must mean that Yue saw that Sokka was feeling down and not really having a place
What
which
the
would
fuck?
be, and so she decided to find out an asteroid being down he was the meteor which is a space sword. That's the theory. Now, Yue does intervene sometimes. She comes a storm to save Aang once, but this is not it. Sokka and Suki boned, and this one is canon, and I love it. In the episode The Southern Raiders, Zuko walks into Sokka's tent only to find him incredibly willing and ready to lay down the pipe for Suki. Then in the morning, Sokka is wearing this wreath, which in Hawaiian culture I believe symbolically represents that they're consummated. Kaya equals Katara. Now, if you didn't know, Katara's original name was meant to be Kaya, but some other company had the rights to it, so they had to change it. You can actually see that Katara is named Kaya in the unaired pilot episode, but then when Legend of Korra came out, they had the rights to it. So they named Aang's kid Kaya, the water meteor. She's a lesbian.
You ever hear the tragedy of Kaya the lesbian?
A little bonus tidbit. Sokka died fighting the Red Lotus.
Wait, holy shit, I'm a fucking idiot. I meant to go to Liyue.
He was around 80. I mean, he was old. And it was around the time either just before Korra was born or when she was
I
very
just
young.
need a moment to quick.
You didn't see any of this.
When Korra was just an infant, the Red Lotus tried to kill her. And if Sokka
down
is
some notes.
part of the White Lotus, then this could even be
You
symbolic.
did not see any of
that
this.
the Red Lotus split off after the White Lotus emerges into the open, with Sokka leading it in part, and after contending with the Splinter Group his entire life, he gives up his life in order to preserve its mission and protect. Is it a coincidence that these two things happened around exactly the same time? I don't know. It's a weird thing, though, to not mention when talking about the Red Lotus, that, he gave up his life between you. At least not explicitly. It could have happened off the page. And there are important story beats in Avatar that have happened off page before. Need I remind you of how they clarified that some airbenders did in fact survive. And when Legend of Korra was first airing, we had no idea who was behind that mask. And there was all sorts of speculation about who it might be. And so it was rife with speculation, but perhaps the most popular theory was that behind that mask was an old, grizzled Aang. This was fueled
That
by
makes
a
no
single
sense.
image that popped up across the forums with little explanation, supposedly as a leak of future episodes of Amon removing his mask and revealing Aang's face. See, we knew by this point that Aang had supposedly died pretty young, but we didn't know how. It was a bit of a mystery. It was strange that it hadn't been communicated at all. And of course, Amon could remove bending, and the only other person who was ever known
Let's
to
go get
do
ourselves
that
some
was
answers.
Aang. The theory went on to suggest that after a long life of being the most powerful,
Stay close and you will live.
Aang came to realize that bending was a scourge on the world, and that he could remove it and save a lot of people suffering. Either that or Aang did die, but only part
Time
of
to
the
broaden the horizons
gone
again.
into Korra, and that was why she couldn't airbend, because the airbending part hadn't moved on yet, and it was still Aang moving around, being Amon. And so
That's
Amon was
stupid.
a spirit of sorts, and to be honest, it's not the worst theory, especially with the knowledge that we had at the time. And credit where credit is due, that image, which of course did turn out to be fake, was really well put together. It looked exactly like the animation.
Don't tell me they did it again.
An interesting twist to play with, that potentially it ends with Aang dying and moving on, the last of the spirit moving into Korra and allowing her to airbend, but I think a lot of people would have been really frustrated with what they did to Aang's character. Toph and Sokka. We have no idea who Toph had kids with, and so this has been this fertile ground of speculation and theorizing, and the number one name that rises to the top every time is Sokka. Supported by a few things. One, Toph has a crush on Sokka in the series. But two, Sokka doesn't seemingly have any kids.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch.
Lightning purified! Our bond is strong!
Illusion shattered.
The Temple of Wisdom! I see everything!
Torn to oblivion. Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha.
Stand with me! I'll settle this!
Inazuma shines eternal.
Toph does mention a man by the name of Kanto. Could be a Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom, or Water Tribe man, but she says that it doesn't really work out. That name could easily be a cover for someone else she's trying to hide. And Toph having a crush on Sokka doesn't really mean that much when she also had a crush on Zuko, and that does not mean that she gave birth to Azumi. Another candidate is possibly Satoru, an inventor guy that only appears in comics. He kind of gets off a bit with Tom. But he also has wavy hair, which is very similar to Zumi's. But my friend, let us delve even deeper to another layer of the iceberg with Zutara works better. To be honest, romantic chemistry is not one of our
Make yourselves at home!
Some people say Zutara have the chemistry.
Things are about to get dicey.
This should have been more pages ever since the series came out.
Lightning, Sheriff! Now you shall perish! This may turn a little.
Part of it's kind of this thematic symmetry of fire and water and blue and red. Character opposites attract, and them both having traumatic pasts with the Fire Nation, with their mother, which they help each other get over. And Zutara was thrown around by the writers at some point in early development. But, I mean, Zuko is 16, Katara is 14, and
Stand with me.
they did not have enough time with each other in the series. And in my opinion, I think there's something very beautiful about friendships where people can change each other without it necessarily needing to be romantic. So
That's not Snapshot.
There is no escape. Game's up. Time's over.
Everyone hold hands. Share my knowledge.
Our bond is strong.
I'll settle this.
Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered.
And it's not an unfair place. You can read about how basically the creators didn't have any idea
Busted.
how they would go through the series and defeating Ozai until the final season, even perhaps kind of the latter half of the final season. And they were like, oh crap, how are we gonna get out of this without him killing him? They had written themselves into a corner, and this was one short way out. Because, to be honest, the Lion Turtles were not well foreshadowed. Them being shown in a couple of episodes is not the same thing as setting up energy bending as a concept, as a way to resolve the conflict of the series. Calling it Deus Ex Machina is not an unfair interpretation, especially because the finale is set up around this point of tension of, is Aang going to choose himself and let Ozai live, or choose the world and kill him? And energy bending was an easy way out of that dilemma. In reality, I think of energy bending as a relatively
too long.
executed of something thematic they were trying to do. Because if
If
you
you showed up earlier to clean, my laptop would have still been off and you could have cleaned this.
continually telling everyone around him there's always another way. You don't have to choose violence. You don't have to choose killing. And everyone else seems to be like, no, at some point you do, except for Aang. Aang is the only one in the entire series who keeps on insisting that, right? If you look at it on a thematic level, then that is Aang's ideology manifesting in a very real way, a way that only he would have ever seen, because other people are just too blind to the idea that you can even find other ways out a lot of the time. Because alternatively, the thematic meaning is that Aang was wrong and the world is so much darker than we thought. And if you look at the story of Avatar as people repeatedly telling Aang that he has to let go of parts of himself, most iconically in the Avatar site, that is him literally losing control and becoming all-powerful, but he rejects that power, like that power. In the critique, he chooses to keep hold of Katara rather than become this automaton, no real earthly attachment. Then this is validation of that decision, that there is power in staying true to yourself, which is why the real...
Yeah, but like freaking all the wires, it's better to clean when the laptop is off, and I'm doing stuff right now.
Climax in the fight against Ozai is actually when Aang is about to kill him in the Avatar state. He's got all four elements, your forefathers have devastated the balance of this world, and he doesn't. He steps out of the Avatar state. He chooses another way. This isn't Aang giving in, but him resisting the power that everyone tells him he should take up and use. And there's meant to be something incredible. That's what energy bending is kind of meant to mean, and I think that they just did not do that at all well. To put it very simply, energy bending is meant to be a manifestation of Aang's spirit, his will, his conviction, his unbendable morality. And the tension is meant to be about when he gives in to this draw of power that everyone else is telling him he should take. That Ozai even mocks him for not taking, even with all the power in the world, you are still weak. But as I said, not very well executed. I don't think this was communicated at all, really. Iroh is half dragon. This one, again, kind of originates with me, and it builds on that dragons from the spirit world theory, because, I mean, it's been an age-old question, how did Iroh live into the spirit world? How did he see the spirits that other people could not in the real world? Well, my overconvoluted answer is that he might be half dragon spirit. After all, we're told that Iroh found and killed the last dragon. So what did he do instead? Just feed them, or did potentially they give him a part of their spirit? And that's why he is able to transcend into the spirit world when he dies. Maybe either that, or he was just super spiritually attuned, which is far more likely. Ty Lee, Secret Airbender. This is perhaps the most popular and common theory out there, and there's something to it. She has grey eyes, something associated only with airbenders, like Aang has, and I do consider a big thing in the Avatar world. They're a lot more indicative, a lot more concrete, a lot less random than our world. They work quite a bit differently. And, of course, she moves a little bit.
I guess those are like my old projects and stuff from school. I don't think there's a need for me to keep them around.
The Avatar role-playing rulebook is and we find out.
Yeah, I mean,
Fire Nation
if you think so, then maybe we can store them somewhere, but like I don't know where we can store them.
So it's not inconceivable
Hopefully.
that some of them even had Eonoman children. In fact, Fire Lord Sozin's sister was really into Eonoman culture, so potentially there was some kind of secret Eonoman sect within the Fire Nation noble houses, and that got
There's way too many Tuesday materials. And it makes sense, Saturday and Sunday.
Spirituality that kind of sounds like pseudo Eonoman philosophy.
So this is technically probably supposedly to be meant to be for convenience.
Heritage way down the line.
Unlike Tuesday,
it kind of takes away from
yeah, no, that's
being
stupid.
the last Airbender. There's like this other one out there at the same time, but it's possible. Gyatso is White Lotus. This one is mostly just vibes. You know, you kind of look at Gyatso and you go, oh, you know what? He kind of looks like he belongs in the White Lotus, and he does play the White Lotus tile on Pai Show games with Aang. So maybe we do get some hints in the role-playing book that he was super interested in cooperation with other nations and stuff, which is White Lotus territory, but no concrete confirmation. It's all just vibes. Do you vibe it yourself? Do you feel Gyatso White Lotus vibes? Iroh is half Knowledge Seeker. So the Knowledge Seekers were the little wolves that helped Wan Shi Tong in his library. They go across the world and they pick up scrolls and information and bring it back to He Who Knows 10,000 Things. And I came up with this theory, and that's why I can tell you that this theory is awful. Makes no sense whatsoever. There's no evidence to it. That video, I wish I never made it. The idea is that he's seen with a knowledge spirit in Legend of Korra, and there's like maybe one fewer knowledge spirits at the library when we see it in Legend of Korra again. So
I'm going fishing.
He took it. I came up with
I'm
it
gonna
in a rush, and it very much shows. And I came up with a bit of
end up the line
like
again.
2 weeks later with him being half dragon, the dragons being spirits. So no, don't believe this one. Katara's mum died because of Hana. You know, the creepy old woman puppeteer, bloodbender? Yeah, her. So, this
That
theory
makes
has
no
kind of
sense.
2 versions of it. Number 1, apparently, Hana escaped, right? And then she tipped off the Firebenders that there was still a waterbender in the Southern Water Tribe. That's why they went and searched for this one. That's why he says, you know, we got a tip that there's one.
Why would she do that?
In order to throw them off her trail. And then they found Katara's mum, and they were like, alright, found her, that's fine. We got Hana again. And that is why Katara's mum died, because Hana was trying to throw them off her trail. And, I mean, this has a bunch of problems. Like,
I see everything.
Why would the Fire Nation be like, man, we're looking for a 65, 70-year-old woman? Oh, yes, you 30-year-old, you look like the right one. But the second version of it is perhaps more believable. Why did the Fire Nation start killing them rather than taking prisoners? And it may well be because they discovered they were too dangerous. And so Katara's mom at least indirectly died because Hama broke out using bloodbending. We don't know. I don't mind the second version of the theory, but I like to think that the Fire Nation is more competent than they are in the first. But this brings us to another level of the iceberg. And we're getting deep into it now. We're getting into the obscure stuff you might have never heard of, the darker and the weirder stuff. Amon, hear me out, is Bath. This is just a little known joke that's been circling around the community for a while. Basically, there are quite a number of scenes in the first season of Legend of Korra where Korra is looking for the bathroom, but she never finds one. We never actually get to see her in the bathroom. And so, the theory goes, well, she's also searching for Amon, but Amon eludes her as well. So, henceforth, therefore, Amon's bathroom, because she's been searching for him the whole time. It's quite incredible. This one is, of course, absolutely canon. There's no doubt to it. I don't think I've actually ever seen a theory with more evidence than this. Ko killed the blue spirit. Ko the Face Stealer is a fan favorite, probably the most fascinating spirit we have had in the entire series, and he only appears once.
I can't interact
we will meet again, Avatar.
with the interactive map.
See him. I was so pumped, and we never did. That is the biggest
What
letdown
the
of
fuck?
the series. But there is a small moment where he is flashing through the faces that he has stolen, and we see this blue mask type one with white fangs, red eyes, and it looks very, very similar to the blue spirit mask that Zuko uses in his disguise. But here's the kicker. The blue mask comes from this play called Love Amongst the Dragons, and in that play there is a dark water spirit who has this mask, alright? Now, there's a possibility that this story is like an old myth, it's an old story that's been transliterated into a play, and so this dark water spirit may have been a thing until Ko stole its face. And we do see that Ko is perfectly capable of stealing spirit faces as much as human faces. I really like this one just because I love Ko as a character, and anything that I get on him is just awesome. The Avatar fixes mistakes. This is basically the idea that each incarnation of the Avatar fixes the mistakes of the previous one. And I quite like this idea, actually, because, fate and destiny are a thing in the Avatar.
Okay, I'm using a
And
different...
this is like loose enough and undefined enough that it kind of plays into it in just a little detailed way,
I'm using a different map rather than the official one, because the official one isn't fucking working. It's telling me that I can click to view the underground map, and I am clicking it, but it won't let me.
But then Kuruk, who came after her, well, he fought dark spirits. He tried to restore the spiritual balance of the world. But he was also kind of neglectful and lazy and maybe a little bit too carefree, not as involved as he should have been. And then we get Kyoshi, who was incredibly involved. Perhaps a little too involved, with the whole Dai Li thing. She was assertive and made controversial decisions, but Roku followed her. Well, he was quite a bit more reserved. He was more careful in the decisions he made as an Avatar. But he did also let the 100-Year War happen. He failed to stop it. And Aang, who of course ended the 100-Year War. But, he did manage to save the Air Nomads. Got Korra, who brings them back, or at least was there when they came back. The evidence for this theory is kind of loose enough that you can believe what you want to. If you want to think that this is the case, then you can point to all of that, and if you don't want to, you can poke a bunch of holes in it. But I like that it adds kind of an arc to history in a way. I like that there is a sense of some sort of design behind this, which I think feeds a little bit into the themes of the series. And if it is true, then this might mean that the next Avatar is all about restoring the connection with past lives or something like that. The lion turtles are gods. This is another one of mine, and it's probably one of my favorite theories that I've come up with. Basically, we get this little moment in Beginnings, right, where Rava refers to the lion turtles as ancient one. Like, the spirit of light and goodness and order herself refers to a lion turtle as older than her. But there are a couple of other hints. One, obviously, World Turtle appears as the originator being in a ton of, different mythologies that Avatar heavily draws on. But two, there is this little line when the lion turtle is talking to him, and he says, "In beginningless time," did this, right? And those words are just vague enough that we can interpret them however we want. And I like to imagine it as them.
Apparently there's a fishing spot here. There it is.
Having come from an era when there was no time, that they exist outside of it. Turn gave birth to time, symbolically in the Tree of Time, which we see in Legend of Korra. What's really interesting about the Tree of Time is it is surrounded by this yin-yang symbol, right? And the yin-yang symbol are what Rava and Vaatu also represent. The light in the dark, a little bit of light in the dark, and a little bit of dark in the light. And we do know that spirits come into being progressively. They weren't all there at the start. So we go the lion turtles, then we had Rava and Vaatu, and then we had, the Mother of Faces and Father Glowworm and all these other really powerful spirits until eventually we got to the little ones scattered throughout the place.
Victory is almost ours!
The lion turtles are at the top, and of course they exist both outside
Whoa,
the
nice
and
catch!
outside the spiritual. The Shearshu can't smell Aang when he's on it because he's literally not on the planet. Amon is spiritual. Alright, so we never really got a concrete answer as to how Amon takes people's bending away, but it's basically this. You know water healing, where, Katara pulls the magic water and it glows and stuff like that? What that is doing
You
is
got it!
it's
You got it!
the energy to flow through the chi parts of the body. Water helps
Whew, that was a tough fight!
He's pretty much doing the reverse of that. He's using water healing to block people's chi cards and move into the wrong. But water healing is a spiritual ability as well, and the more spiritual you are, the better you are.
Victory is almost ours! Wow, nice catch!
Himself and the world, especially because I'm sure that doing the reverse takes even more precision, even more power, given he seems to be the only one that can do it. Now, he tells his followers
You got it!
that
You
he
got
has the power to take away bending by a spirit. And that's such a good story.
Wow,
I kinda
nice
wish
catch!
they went with that because there's so much more mythology to it. But theoretically, it could still be true. Yeah, he is a waterbender, but this is a power that he was taught by a spirit.
Yeah,
He saw
you
that
nearly got him!
how to be firebending, a new type of firebending from the dragon. Why not see
Wow,
this?
Paimon's stomach is
I love the
rumbling
idea
already!
even though we never really get to see it as this spiritual powerhouse. But here's the thing about icebergs, right? Most of them are underwater, and that applies to the world at large as well. Most of it,
Ah,
we should learn a bit
steady
more
now!
about,
It's the final stretch!
right, and that is
What is it?
the world.
What is it?
Why
Is
you
it
should
another
watch
Paimon?
a documentary by David Attenborough, the man himself, called Deep Ocean, and it explores the ecological world of the deep ocean and everything in it, and its beauty and majesty and the amazing things that live under there. And you know,
So
you need to
close,
look
so
there,
close.
you know,
Stay cool.
everyone does. It's just a thing.
Wow,
that we do, and
Paimon's
you can do
stomach
that
is
on
rumbling
Curiosity,
already.
which you can get access to by clicking the link down below. But in addition to that, by the way, CuriosityStream has supported this service called Nebula, a thing that us creators, a bunch of YouTubers got together and made so that we didn't have to be beholden to like Google ads and things like that.
Victory
And
is almost
it has all
ours.
of our videos, and I actually have a whole other series on there called Beyond Writing, which builds
Whew,
on
that was a
stuff
tough
that's going on
fight.
here, and you get access to that as well. So go watch Deep Ocean with David Attenborough on CuriosityStream and get access to Nebula and that Beyond Writing series. It's basically nothing for an entire catalogue of amazing educational documentaries and all of Nebula, which has all of our stuff, amazing creators who you all know. And by the way, I wouldn't promote this if it wasn't really cheap. You get all of this for $14.79 for the entire year. That's 26% off right now. Really right now though. Click the link down in the description. The dropped fourth season. Yes, despite the fact that the fourth season very much concludes
So
the story.
close, so close.
Apparently there
Stay
was
cool.
meant to be a fourth season
Wow,
of
Paimon's stomach is rumbling already.
The show is quoted to have said, yes, we always believed there would be a fourth season. It wasn't over in time. We all thought we'd do a fourth season of Avatar. Then along came M. Night. Though, to be clear, M. Night Shyamalan wanted us to do a fourth season, but Mike and Brian wanted to focus on the movie. You can interpret the hell out of that if you want. And that lost fourth season may have been what we eventually got in the comics with the problem with financial colonies and the search for his mother. We don't know. Instead,
Victory is almost ours. Wow, Paimon's stomach is rumbling already.
Yeah, so this is, in my opinion, probably just an animation mistake. There are a couple of little scenes in the series. You see Aang holding a plate.
Yeah, he's really got him. Wow, Paimon's stomach is rumbling already.
Imply that maybe he has. Ursa was abused. Avatar is rife with dark things that are just subtext or only hinted at but never fully shown, and this is one of them. We're given this one image in the comic Smoke and Shadow where Ursa returns home to the Fire Nation Palace and she basically has a PTSD flashback. It's one of my favorite depictions of it I think I've ever seen. I encourage you to go watch my videos on Azula psychology and Zuko psychology where I discuss their family dynamic in more depth. But we do see that he also explicitly threatens her with violence, and I can definitely imagine that attitude being both sexual, emotional, physical, all of those things together. It is no doubt in my mind that Ursa is a traumatized person. But the comics do give Ursa a story where she eventually faces up to Ozai and she kind of reasserts her own agency in a story that is very reminiscent of a lot of Survivor stories. It's very, very good. I like that detail. But this is definitely something that you might have potentially missed. I think that
Have I
about
not
terrible
gotten
things
this
you can
yet?
imagine happened to her probably did. Varric is Sokka's son. Now, you have to look at all of the compelling evidence that there is for this theory, and that's very easy to lay on the table. You'll be 100% convinced when I tell you what this evidence is, which is, of course, that Varric is a little bit like Sokka.
Yeah,
That's it. That's basically the entire
Okay.
theory, that they're both inventors and funny and talk a little bit fast. And again, it's that fertile soil of Sokka not having any family of his own, and so, you know what, let's just slack a Sokka parental label on it. I need a meme where, like, all of the characters from Korra are in a car and, like, a fan slapping her. You can fit so many Sokka sex scenes in this. New avatars look like past incarnations' lovers. And this theory has been around for a while now, and it's mostly just vibes. Like, Kyoshi looks a little bit like Kuruk's wife. And Aang looks a tad like Roku's wife, and Korra looks a little bit like Katara, I guess.
Stay cool.
Connected to this is, though, another really funny theory, which is that the
that was a
Avatar
tough
likes women
fight.
because we've never had an example of where like an avatar ends up with a man. Though I'm pretty convinced that the people who have a real hard-on for this theory basically just have a strong brunette woman kink, and now they see two types of people in the world: strong brunette women and everyone else. Again, we descend deeper into the iceberg with Toph is a bad singer. This is one that I just saw in the comments of my post, and I found it funny, so I wanted to include it. Basically, canonically, we know Badgermoths respond well to bad singing, alright? Bad music, alright? We know that is true. Toph has a great relationship with the Badgermoths. Henceforth, therefore, Toph's a bad singer. You know what? I'm on board. I'm on board. What are you? Bending should have been more impressive. So, one of the things that people say about Legend of Korra is that they ruined bending somehow. And part of that is that they don't like that it's faster and flashier and bigger and better and whatever. But here's the thing. That is how bending was meant to be. So, when the original series was made, the creators wanted it to be more like that, but they just didn't have the budget. Animation, particularly for water, just wasn't up to scratch, just wasn't really capable of producing it in the way that we see it in Korra. That's why things in The Last Airbender are slower and smaller compared to Korra, and if they had their way, it would have been more like Korra. Miyuki is a war criminal. This is an old meme in the community that comes entirely from the fact that there is this one throwaway line where the herbalist says to Miyuki, her cat, you know, the little fluffy cat in the episode The Blue Spirit, she says, "Did you get into trouble with the Fire Nation again?" And people have come up with incredible stories about Miyuki's adventures. Except, it gets even funnier. When you look up the phrase, Miyuki is a war criminal.
Steady now,
Google
it's the
gives you
final stretch.
this answer. She is
That
believed
was
to
a
have
tough
murdered
fight.
dozens of infants along
What
with
the
several
fuck?
accomplices. Azula, Fire Priestess. So, in Legend of Korra, Korra comes to this island where she meets a bunch of fire sagey type people, and one of them is this Fire Priestess. And some people think that this might be Azula for two reasons. Number one, she's roughly as old as Azula would be at the time. And two, there were always plans, and potentially they may still happen, for Azula to have a redemption arc, and that she would become more spiritual and stuff like that. And given we have very little information about what happened to Azula later on in life, it is rife for speculation. It's like Sokka's loins activities all over again. I don't think there's much to this one personally, and I don't think that this would be a particularly interesting answer to what happened to Azula anyway. The darkest day in Fire Nation history. These words come up when Sokka is researching a day to attack the Fire Nation, and he chances across the
I'll
Solar
protect
Eclipse,
us.
which is described as the darkest day in Fire Nation history. But why was it described this way? Sure, firebending stopped working, but words like those are usually used to describe horrific tragedies, massacres, and genocides that stay in the minds of people for generations. If you look up the darkest day in American history, you'll come across 9/11. If you look up the darkest day in Japanese history, you'll come across the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. We know very little around what happened in this time, but it was during an era of intense civil war, dynasties falling like flies left, right, and center, royal family members murdering each other in a storm of conspiracies. It is noted, though, that around this time, Fire Nation history and politics began to stabilize, suggesting that perhaps this first solar eclipse was used to cull enemies of the Fire Lord, a horrific tragedy so terrible it could be used to take power and settle these feuds for generations. How many died to make that possible? What dark pacts with spirits were made? How many firebenders were murdered when those who were kept under their boot finally realized they were moving? The next one down claims that animal guides die with their avatar.
Access
This
denied.
basically comes from one scene in the original series. Avatar Roku's
That's easy.
the dragon chooses to die with him in the volcanic eruption. Spirit guides are kind of these animals that all avatars seem to end up with. Avatar 1 had a Karibo, Aang had Appa, Korra had Naga,
Where's the
Roku
thingy?
had Fang.
Why they?
It
Right.
does seem like this isn't just like a random connected animal, it's completely spiritual. It's found in a way.
So, Resty, what are we doing?
Oh, you're here. I'm fishing.
Always has been. You're fishing for what? Are you fishing for compliments? Is that what you're doing?
No, I mean I'm fishing in Genshin.
Make yourself
Ah, you want to fish in my world? Is that what you're saying?
Mayhap.
Next on the agenda,
I'm also gonna go open up my Genshin now. I woke up at like 3 a.m. You know when I said giving the dog a haircut is a pain? Yeah, it's a pain. And I fell asleep right now.
Damn.
Yeah. We fucking dog had too many tangled hair and it was all floofy. So you know how you know sheep, right? You know how they harvest the wool? It was basically a mini sheep where the whole wool coat it was just taken off in one.
Dank.
Unlike usual haircuts, because it was so fucking tangled with each other that we had to fucking. It's like a fleece, Resty. You know, a fleece, a whole coat of fur just taken out from the dog.
Amazing.
And yeah, he's now bald.
Lovely. I like Jazz
Yeah,
the most
baby
too when
is
he's
now
bald.
I'd like to announce his name now as Baldly instead of Bailey.
Nice.
Also, yeah, my arms hurt still.
Yep.
Yeah, because the thing is, Resty, so we went to the beach, right? And you know those floating platform rafts thingy? Yeah, we kind of pushed those into the water. I was also part of the pushing force. Yeah, I think that's the reason why my arms hurt.
Yikes.
You know, and also when it went high tide, you know, I kind of needed
So
to push
close,
that.
so close. Stay cool.
What's the English word for it? It's called palhan
Whoa, nice catch.
in Tagalog.
Well, I don't know that word. I don't know that word. So sadly, I cannot help.
Yeah, basically it's a floating raft made of kawayan. What's kawayan in English? Is that just bamboo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
finally got him. Whew, that was a tough fight.
Anyways, yeah. I opened up my Genshin. You wanna go come fish?
I'm still fishing in my world. Maybe later.
What fish are you trying to get anyways?
Samaru fish.
Oh, that. I also kind of need those, but I don't really need some. I only need like a couple more fish, and I can buy everything from the Sumaru shop.
Damn, what? I barely bought anything from the. I barely traded with
so
anything.
heavy.
I finished every shop thingy. I only need to buy the fishing rod left. And I'm golden. I'm fine and damn it. Yeah. Visualities. Nice. So, any plans in continuing the exploration of the Helvenet Storm Desert?
Yes, that is my plan after I fished out everything in my world.
Nah,
The final stretch.
let's go.
Wow, Paimon's
Father.
stomach is rumbling already.
Then wouldn't you want to fish in my world first?
I don't know.
So that when you come back to your world, you only need to fish a couple more and then you can just continue exploring instead of leaving my world to explore your desert.
I don't really see a difference. Plus, I started playing early, you know.
I know. I woke up at 3. Why didn't you mention me yesterday? We could have been playing earlier.
I just didn't feel like it.
Seriously, all I need are sandstorm anglers. If you do find some of those, can you tell me where you found them so I can just
Alright.
go fish for them? Sandstorm anglers, okay? That's all I need, like 4 of them, and that's it. Meanwhile, while waiting for you, I guess I'll just do my daily commissions that are in Sumeru, which is nice. Well, let's do it. So yeah, I gave it some more further thoughts, and yeah, I really just don't like the Sumeru team for the teapot.
I see. That's fair.
It just, it's just boring.
Yeah, I don't care much about it either, but I'm just too lazy to go back to the previous one.
So basically, Sumeru, like, you know, flat ground. There's really nothing interesting to it, you know. Like, all of the places in the Sumeru teapot, like all of the land masses there is just flat. There's nothing interesting about it. Right? You got what I'm trying to say, right?
I guess.
Behold, the Princess Endeavor.
Like in Inazuma, the Inazuma team, there's like, the first one is like a shoal area, like a beach, sandy area, right? The second one
For
is
the
like
true
a
majesty of
regular
the
farmland.
princessin.
And then the third one is like
I created another universe.
mountainous, flat ground that has a lot of trees and shade. And then the last one is like, you know, like overlooking all the other entire areas, right? Yeah, here's some fucking flat ground growing on some plant vines, root, whatever,
La la la.
and have fun. There's nothing interesting about the terrain shape. It's usually just all circles, right? Circle flatland. At least the beach area, you know, the Mondstadt one. That one had, you know, somewhere on high ground, somewhere on the beach, and the fucking placement shapes were, you know, different. I'd say the Sumeru landscape kind of has the issue with the one that Liyue has, the Adeptus one,
And what would that be?
where it's just, you know, you're just interconnecting and then just flat circles. That's it.
I see.
The other Liyue one, the mountainous one, was pretty cool. That was okay.
What is it? What is it? Is it another Paimon?
I guess I do need to go to the Sumeru version though. Because I gotta put the, you know, the set furnishings? Yeah, those give some primos. I'm gonna set furnishing on the Sumeru version.
Victory is almost ours. Whoa!
And then
nice
after that, I'll just go back to the Inazuma one.
Nice.
The only thing that I liked about the Sumeru one is the actual house. Like, it's different, you know?
Yes, it's pretty cool.
It's cool, but kind of annoying, but we get this, you know, like,
What is it? What is
unique.
it?
It's
Is it
different.
another
It's
Paimon?
not what we're used to, which is usually just the houses, you know?
Indeed.
I like that, but I think they could have performed it better, you know?
So close, so close. Stay cool.
I think what they should do with the teapot is, so you know the mansion, right? I think they should include the mansion as a teleport waypoint instead of just the thing that you can look at. The map in the minimap.
Indeed.
So that way we won't be annoyed to climb the teleport waypoint. To climb the house whenever we want to enter it. We just teleport right in the doorstep. It sounds like a great idea to me to fix that shit.
Yeah.
Why do we care about that spot so much?
I hear the voice of fate.
Well, you
Why do I care about it?
I'm just humoring you.
I know. You don't care about it at all.
I sure don't. If I wanted to make a house, I'd play Animal Crossing or Minecraft.
Or, Stardew Valley.
You've got it.
Or,
That's more life simulation than it is Sandbox.
Fight.
what's the original one?
Harvest.
Harvest Moon. Yeah. Have you ever played, what's it called? It's fucking... Why do I not remember what it's called? Summon Knights.
Yeah, you nearly got
Never
him.
played that.
What?
Ooh, that was a tough
Summon
fight.
Knight Swordcraft.
No, I can't say I've ever heard of such a thing.
It's from Game Boy, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they also added it into the PSP, and I'm pretty sure they also added it into the Nintendo DS. They didn't release the third game in the US.
Steady now. It's the
They
final
only
stretch.
released the first two, I'm pretty sure. But it's a cool game, Resty. So basically, it's you are a blacksmith.
Extraordinaire.
You realize you're a master summoner or something. I don't fully remember the story. You have to stop, classic RPG stuff. You have to stop the evil bad guy, and basically you go out into the wilderness.
You got it.
You encounter monsters. They drop items, and those items you can craft into different
You
weapons.
made that look easy.
I see.
So you can craft like a dagger, iron dagger. You can craft the fucking crab shell axe or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like daggers,
Victory's
swords,
almost ours.
axes, and spears,
nice
and gauntlets. There's like fist cups, which is pretty cool. Gloves, I think, is what they're called. It was a really cool game.
I see.
I liked it back then.
You played it?
I did play it. I'm pretty sure you can just download, like, you know how the emulator works for like the phone.
Yes, I know.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure you can just find the ROM.
Wow, Pirate's
Downloading.
stomach
Alright.
is rumbling already.
I see.
It should be all good. You can probably play it as well.
What was the
I
name
like that
again?
they
You
make-
cut off when you mentioned the name.
Summon Knight Swordcraft.
Yeah, you just said sword.
Steady now. It's the final stretch.
Nice.
Wow,
Anyways, I like that they made the Weasel Thief commission easier to do. Like, it's a lot quicker.
I see.
Also, the Desert of Hadramavet, I got commissions in there now.
Nice. Yeah, same.
So, out of the entire desert of Hadramavet, I've only seen one fishing spot. Which I should probably check. Because that fishing spot probably has sandstorm anglers.
Yes, the sandstorm area has sandstorm anglers.
Yeah, probably. That's why I should check that fishing spot. If it doesn't have any, then that's just dumb.
I created
I
another
wanna commit die.
universe.
Yeah,
I
so
wanna
my
commit
Barbara
all
has
you-
500 elemental mastery now.
And what does that do for you? Nothing.
She blooms.
And what does that do for you? Nothing still.
She deal damage.
He doesn't really stop trying to make me think that Barbara Bloom is good. It's not. It'll never be good.
As long as you don't use her for vaporize, she good. As elemental mastery. She'll need more field time, but like that and less healing. But since she has more field time, you heal and tank as her more often anyway while doing the blooms.
Wow.
It's
And,
good.
Why would you even want to try doing damage with Barbara when you could just do damage with other characters that are just better at that job?
Because Bloom is good.
I just don't think
Steady now.
No,
It's
Bloom
the
is.
final stretch.
It's
You made that look easy.
Fuck, it was another one of them stupid ass teapot fishes.
Stop trying to make me feel like Bloom is good. It's not. It'll never be good. It's just. Also, it's Rosaria's birthday.
You've got it. You got it.
What?
Whew, that was
It's Rosaria's
fun.
birthday in the mail.
Yes. It sure is.
Does this place have sandstorm members? Yes, there are. But right now there aren't. There's only the Halcyon Jades. And the Aqua, the Jades. I don't remember what they're called. I don't really care.
Where the fuck are the redfishes?
The what now?
the other type
I
of-
already told you. I already told you where it is. It's in
I
Mount Yima.
created another universe and founded paradise. For I,
Mount Tiyima, what's that? The forest? Apam Woods, Devantaka, Chatrakam, Alcazar, Zarai.
You literally looked at every goddamn place except for the one that I said.
Where the fuck is it?
Top right.
Ah, Mount Tiyima, there it is. Ah,
Yeah,
I,
you
have,
teleport on top of one of the mushroom trees.
I have a mark.
Are they even trees? What are they?
Yeah, what the fuck are they?
Are they just mushrooms? Are they cement? I mean, they look like rocks. They don't fucking.
Mushrooms
Feels
are
squished.
plant versions of parasites.
I know. That's a true food angler. That's not a sandstorm one. I'm pretty sure you need these as well. Where the hell are the sandstorm ones? Have you found any, Rescue?
Nay,
Sandstorm?
nay.
The fuck?
That's a
Where
big
did I
nay,
get
nay.
15 of them?
Now watch me whip.
Where the fuck did I find 16 sandstorm anglers? Also, have you bought the fishing thingy that makes it easier to catch fish?
In Sumeru? No.
You should.
I still
The
just
more you
use
catch
Moonspringer.
No, Resty, there's a gadget
victory
that
is
makes it
almost
easier to
ours.
catch fish.
I see. Well, you need to catch fish to get it, and I just don't care.
The fish that you need to catch is just the regular ass dumb
You made
fucking
that look
medaka,
easy.
Resty. What the fuck do you mean?
Wait, by chance do I already have it?
Did you even craft it?
What's it called?
Hang on, let me check my backpack after I catch this fish.
Fishing line stabilizer?
Yes, that's it.
I can deactivate it.
Why would you deactivate it? Do you want to catch fish harder?
When you've done...
Wait a minute.
I see.
So, bamboo shoot soup created using the Supreme Cuisine machine. Strongly rated this dish as such appearances.
Cuisine
Exquisite.
Supreme Machine. Machine
And the
Cuisine
aromatic
Supreme.
fermentation. Among its key ingredients are nascent bamboo shoots. They're hard to come by due to their multiplicity of reasons. Their commemorative value far exceeds their worth as cooking ingredients. Since this meal was created by an adeptus, it shouldn't spoil even if you just leave it in your bag. So Resty, what you mean to say is that every dish in our inventory is made by an adeptus because those things haven't spoiled yet.
I know, right?
Nice catch.
Apparently so.
Anyways, yeah. Fucking fishing line stabilizer. The more you catch fish of the same type, the easier you get to catch them, and there's gonna be an arrow that shows up when you're catching the fish that has easier difficulty.
Yeah, I already have that.
Victory is almost
And
ours.
Are you kidding me? There's no sandstorm in the sandstorm desert place? There's no sandstorm anyways?
Wow, Paimon's stomach is rumbling already.
So what do you need to catch exactly?
A green fish, a red fish, and then a blue fish.
Yeah, there's a lot of green and red fish in my world. I only need the sandy fish. What color is sand? I mean, there's multiple different types of sand though.
Well, they're typically yellowish, brownish, pale-ish. But there are also red sands, which are
There's also
like
white,
rusted.
there's also black, there's also orange, there's also pink.
I
What
wanna
the
see
fuck
pink
is
sand.
this?
So close.
I know, right?
Whoa, nice catch.
Why does sand happen near water?
Yes. Glass is
And also-
technically liquid since
Also,
there...
Rusty, why does sand also happen in deserts?
Victory is almost ours. What is it? What is it? Is it
Indeed.
Like,
another
think about it,
Paimon?
Rusty. Like, sand can only exist in two extremes. One is extremely wet, which is like ocean, beaches, just near water, and sand also exists
You've got
in
it.
extremely dry places
Wow, Paimon's
Mars
stomach is
consists
rumbling already.
entirely...
of iron dusts.
Yes,
I know.
sand. In other words,
Sand, iron sand.
yes. So
How
I
many
guess
more of the rituals do you need? Because I can teleport to my world, the place to fish for them, and if you can
What is
just
it?
join
What
me
is
and
it?
catch them.
Is it another Paimon?
I'm not planning on refining end of the line. I just want to get it. And I believe
Just-
I need 4 of the reds, and then the greens and the blues I need like fucking 20 of.
You can just teleport to my world. Like, just do it.
Yes, I believe I am almost all out of fish here, so it's time for me to go to you.
Got him.
They only show up in the
Wow,
morning. What the
Paimon's
fuck?
stomach is rumbling already.
I don't understand how the morning is. I work
Steady now. It's the final.
because how do you
That
know,
was a
okay?
tough fight.
Those fish. The fish can't go anywhere. They're in a fucking pond, right?
True.
Why does making it nighttime or daytime make it so that they don't appear there?
Pure magic.
They're always there. I know. Right, so profile. At Light Loishi, life is over. You're injured. Get to safety, said Jean. Man, I really miss the fishing buff we got from Toma, where we can just get double fish.
Indeed, that's only in Inazuma. He only works in Inazuma.
I know, and in Azuma, we don't need the fishes there anymore. So, how far are you into the achievement for fishing, Rusty?
I don't know. I don't care about fishing.
Yeah, there's an
It's
achievement that
something-
tells you to catch 2,000 fish.
Fishing really isn't fun, but because there's rewards, Genshin essentially begrudgingly forces you to do them if you want to do good.
No, you don't need to do them. The weapons aren't that, great. They're okay at best.
The catch is literally one of the best free-to-play shits you could ever have.
The other weapons, though, Rusty? Like that Sumeru goldfish isn't really that great. Anyways, I've caught 1,359 fish out of 2,000 for the achievement. I only need to catch 600 more. I'll
Right.
catch those when they update more fish weapons.
I'm going to your world now.
Teleport, sure. I'll try finding where the sandstorm fish are. I should probably get rid of all the fishing spot marks that I placed on my map. I don't really need them anymore.
Nice.
I only keep the fishing spots with unique fishes, like the one in Mount Hulao. Not Hulao, Mount Aokang.
Oh, Never mind. I'm not fishing in your world. I'm having lunch.
Oh, well, you can just stay in my world.
Yes, I'm going to do that. Hope you don't mind having only 2 party members.
You haven't even loaded in yet.
I know. I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll just be getting rid of the fish spots. Don't worry about me.
Nah. Hey, Gene and Cleepy over there.
What did you say?